Many times in her life, Sally Field had stared at letters she kept from her father, letters written decades ago, never having the courage to open them. Some were from 35 years ago, some 40, preserved in a box as if holding on to them could preserve a connection long lost. Even now, as she reflected on them at 78, there was a mixture of love, regret, and longing she could barely put into words. These letters were fragments of a life that began in complexity, one where joy and sorrow were intertwined from the very start. Behind the applause, the fame, and the red carpet moments, Sally Field's life had been marked by trials that few could imagine, a combination of heartbreak, resilience, and courage that would shape the woman she became. A childhood shattered too soon, Sally Field's story of struggle did not begin with Hollywood or awards. It began in the quiet corners of her childhood home in Pasadena, California, where stability was fleeting and love was conditional. Born on November 6, 1946, Sally entered a family already under strain. By the age of 4, the divorce of her parents had already splintered the foundation of her world. Divorce in the 1950s was stigmatized, and for a small child, it meant far more than the separation of adults. It meant a loss of security, predictability, and trust. Her mother, Margaret Field, was a working actress under Paramount Pictures. Glamorous, polished, and admired by many, she was often emotionally distant, preoccupied with her career and the maintenance of appearances. Her father, Richard Dryden Field, was a decorated World War II veteran, disciplined and formal, offering structure but little warmth. For young Sally, the split left her suspended between two worlds, one glamorous but distant, the other authoritative but absent. Love was not constant. It was conditional, fleeting, and fragile. Betrayal within the home. The deepest wound came not from absence, but presence. Shortly after the divorce, Sally's mother remarried Jock Mahoney, a stuntman and actor whose outward charm belied the darkness inside. Mahoney's abusive behavior toward Sally went largely unseen by those around her. In her memoir, In Pieces, Sally would later describe the long-lasting impact of that abuse, revealing how it shaped her understanding of love, trust, and safety. The manipulation, the blurred boundaries, and the violation of her childhood left scars that ran deep. Compounding the pain was the silence of her mother, the person who should have been her protector. That silence, intentional or not, reinforced a sense of invisibility that haunted Sally for years. Yet even in the midst of that pain, a lifeline emerged. Acting. Acting as survival. For Sally, performing was never about ambition or fame in the early days. It was survival. On sets, through drama classes, and in classrooms, she discovered a space where she could embody other lives, feel other emotions, and temporarily escape her own trauma. Each role became a sanctuary, a place where she could breathe freely for a moment, someone unbound by fear and hidden pain. Acting offered her the language she had not been given in her own home, a way to express the truths she could not voice. That spark, born of adversity, would shape her career and define her artistry. Early career challenges. Sally's first steps into the public eye were not without struggle. Her breakout role came in 1965 with Gidget, a light-hearted sitcom that brought instant fame, but also pigeonholed her in the public eye as a wholesome, bubbly girl next door. To audiences, she was charming, delightful, and endlessly relatable. Behind the scenes, she was grappling with the weight of past trauma, unaddressed grief, and the pressure to conform to a persona that erased her depth. 2 years later, The Flying Nun catapulted her into even greater visibility. Wearing the wide-brimmed habit of Sister Bertrell, she became a recognizable television figure across America. For the world, it was playful and innocent. For Sally, it was suffocating. Each episode reminded her of the disparity between public expectation and private reality, between the actress she was being asked to be and the woman she truly was inside. By 19, the strain had become unbearable, leaving her depressed and questioning her identity. Acting, once a refuge, had now become both a source of opportunity and a reminder of constraints she longed to escape. Walking away to find herself. At the peak of her sitcom fame, Sally made a choice that stunned Hollywood. She walked away. For nearly 3 years, she rejected offers for lighthearted roles, risking her career and drawing ridicule from industry insiders who doubted she could survive without television work. Many assumed she would fade into obscurity, dismissed as just another pretty face with no dramatic range. But Sally Field was determined. Her break from sitcoms was not rebellion for its own sake. It was a conscious decision to reclaim her voice, to invest in her growth as an actress capable of authentic, emotional depth. Method, acting and transformation. In the early 1970s, Sally studied at the Lee Strasberg Actors Studio, immersing herself in the grueling discipline of method acting. It was a demanding process, one that required confronting buried trauma and transforming it into emotional truth. Night after night, she mined her own experiences, drawing from the silence, pain, and abandonment of her childhood. This was not glamorous work. It was exhausting, sometimes frightening, and often left her questioning whether she belonged in Hollywood at all. Yet, it was necessary. It was a transformative period, one that allowed her to move beyond typecasting and begin to create performances infused with authenticity and power. Breakthrough roles. The world first truly recognized her dramatic talent in 1976 with Sybil, a television movie portraying a woman with dissociative identity disorder, born of childhood trauma. For Sally, portraying Sybil was a terrifying yet cathartic experience. Each of the characters' 13 distinct personalities echoed her own unresolved pain, and each performance required her to confront dark corners of herself. Audiences were captivated. Critics hailed her performance as extraordinary, and Sally won her first Emmy. It was a validation of her skill, but also a testament to her resilience and courage in transforming personal suffering into art. Norma Ray and the Academy Award just a few years later, Sally took on the title role in Norma Ray, playing a woman fighting for justice in a Southern textile union. Here, she fully embodied the character, drawing on her own life experiences of struggle and defiance. When she walked onto the stage to accept her first Academy Award for Best Actress in 1980, it was more than a professional triumph. It was a victory over every dismissal, every stereotype, every whispered doubt about her capability. Her success was a reclamation of agency, proof that depth, resilience, and authenticity could overcome the constraints of typecasting and early career expectations. Yet such victories carried a cost, as her intense performances often left her emotionally exhausted, grappling with the echoes of her own childhood pain, personal life, and heartbreak. Even as her career soared, Sally's personal life was filled with challenges. Her first marriage to high school sweetheart Stephen Craig brought joy through the birth of 2 sons, Peter and Eli, but also strained as she navigated the demands of a burgeoning career and the isolation that often accompanies fame. The marriage quietly ended in divorce, teaching Sally that love alone cannot always sustain a partnership. Later, her relationship with Burt Reynolds brought both passion and pain. Their intense connection was matched by insecurity and conflict behind closed doors. Reynolds, despite his charm and public persona, often dismissed her talent, undermined her ambitions, and challenged her sense of self. Their relationship ended in 1982, leaving Sally with both the memory of love and the imprint of its limits. Marriage and motherhood. Sally's next marriage, to producer Alan Grayman in 1984, offered steadiness and the birth of her youngest son, Sam. This period brought a sense of stability, but even here, intimacy slowly eroded, culminating in a separation in 1994. Throughout these experiences, motherhood remained a central, grounding force. Her sons were anchors in her life, sources of unconditional love and continuity amid professional and personal upheaval. Later, as a grandmother, Sally found renewed joy and purpose in nurturing her family, creating a life defined not by fame, but by the relationships she cherished most. Facing death, the plane crash. Sally's life was marked not only by emotional trials, but also by moments that tested her very survival. On October 29th, 1988, while in Aspen with her husband Alan and infant son Sam, a private plane crash thrust them into mortal danger. Seconds into takeoff, the engines failed, and the plane lurched violently, filling the cabin with smoke and terror. Sally clutched Sam with every ounce of strength, focusing solely on his safety. Miraculously, all three survived with minor injuries, but the psychological impact lingered. The crash became a lens through which Sally reconsidered priorities, recognizing the fragility of life and the importance of family over career or fame, advocacy, and health challenges. In her later years, Sally faced another hidden challenge: osteoporosis. Diagnosed during a routine checkup, the disease threatened her mobility and independence. Refusing to let it define her, Sally launched campaigns for awareness and prevention, using her platform to encourage women to take proactive care of their bone health. She also embraced lifestyle changes, including a plant-based diet, yoga, and mindful movement, demonstrating that resilience includes both body and mind, reclaiming peace and purpose. Today, at 78, Sally Field has reclaimed a sense of peace long denied in her youth. Living in Pacific Palisades, her life is centered on family, quiet moments, and meaningful advocacy. She delights in being a mother and grandmother, finding joy in everyday acts rather than public recognition. Her legacy is one of resilience, courage, and authenticity, both in her art and in her personal life. Advocacy and legacy. Sally's advocacy extends beyond health to LGBTQ+ equality, women's reproductive rights, and climate activism. She has used her voice to support her children, defend the vulnerable, and champion causes she believes in, reflecting a lifetime of transforming personal struggle into action for others. Her memoir, In Pieces, offers a candid reflection on trauma, heartbreak, and resilience, giving voice to the young girl she once was and inspiring countless others to confront their own challenges with courage. Conclusion: a life of resilience. Sally Field's life is a testament to the human spirit. From a childhood marked by loss and abuse to the heights of Hollywood acclaim, she has endured heartbreak, personal trials, and the weight of fame. Yet she has emerged as a woman defined not by her struggles, but by her strength, authenticity, and unwavering commitment to truth and family. Her story reminds us that even amid pain, it is possible to shine, to love, and to leave a legacy of courage and compassion. Sally Field's journey forces us to ask, how much can one person endure and still thrive? Her answer lies in every role she has played, every child she has nurtured, and every life she has touched.